First, he talks about Burkina Faso's gold that we supposedly use for our protection and everything. First of all, it's Burkina Faso's gold. It's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? It's none of his business. It's Burkina Faso's gold. It doesn't concern him. Secondly, he lied, because Burkina Faso never had gold reserves until we arrived. We are the ones who started reserving gold in the treasury of Burkina Faso. Otherwise, there wasn't a single gram of gold reserve in Burkina Faso. That means he's a liar again. And the aspect that hurt me the most, not because he's a general or because he's American or whatever, it's because he's black. And it hurts a lot to see that they use a black man to fight a black man. The black race must not be used to fight black people, and every time it's the same thing, it's the same thing. And that's what we deplore. And it hurt us a lot to see that. It was a black man who made these remarks. In a fiery rebuttal to U.S. General Langley's remarks before the Senate Traoré during an interview on RT while in Russia, once again makes it clear, Burkina Faso's gold, its partnerships, its army, its future belongs to no one but the Burkinabe people. He refuses to let foreign generals, especially black ones used as pawns by Western systems, define Africa's path. His words during this interview were not just defiance, they are a blueprint for African liberation rooted in truth, powered by unity, and driven by a vision of total sovereignty. Aside several other topics discussed, this is more than a response. It's a rallying cry for every African who believes the continent must rise, reclaim its dignity, and take back control from those who've profited off its suffering for too long. Traoré isn't asking for permission. He's building a new Africa, and he's daring the rest of us to stand with him. This is uplifting Africa. Mr. President. Mr. President, regarding the remarks of the African commander before the U.S. Senate, your government reacted firmly denouncing unfounded accusations about Burkina Faso's sovereign choices. What do you say in particular to Washington, which continues to question the legitimacy of your current partnerships, notably with Russia? And how do you intend to defend Burkina Faso's image on the international stage in the face of this type of discourse? Anyway, we are free to establish relations with whomever we want. That's independence. So on this point, they can continue to think what they want. We will go where we want, provided that this partnership can be mutually beneficial for each party. Regarding his remarks, as you said, we protested through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's one thing, but I don't know what happened with this general. There is a concern, and I hope perhaps that he makes his best mea culpa. If he was sent, then he should understand that it's not the right mission. If he was misled, he should say it publicly, or if he was wrong before the Senate. Or if it's bad intention, well, we will confront him as necessary because everything he said is a lie. And it's very vile to see an adult lie. To see an adult general officer of a great army lie. It's very serious. First, he talks about Burkina Faso's gold that we supposedly use for our protection and everything. First of all, it's Burkina Faso's gold. It's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? It's none of his business. It's Burkina Faso's gold. It doesn't concern him. Secondly, he lied. Because Burkina Faso never had gold reserves until we arrived. We are the ones who started reserving gold in the treasury of Burkina Faso. Otherwise, there wasn't a single gram of gold reserve in Burkina Faso. That means he's a liar. Again, the other thing when he says we use it for protection and everything, we are free. If the people decided that we govern them, we have a duty to protect ourselves. So we are free. What business is it of his? And the aspect that hurt me the most, not because he's a general or because he's American or whatever, it's because he's black. And it hurts a lot to see that they use a black man to fight a black man. And that hasn't started now. It has to stop. It's very dangerous. Even Libya, they destroyed Libya. They still used a black man. In American movies in the past, black people always play the bad role. But we thought it was just in the movies. But why must black people continue to play the bad role? And I think if he heard this interview, he should look in a mirror. Be ashamed. Go out, say that he was given a false report, that he regrets it. He should say it publicly. If it's a false report, someone made it, he should come out and deny it. because you followed. When I take our neighbor again, as I say, between us, black people, the Ivorian Minister of Defense who goes to Turkey to see the Turkish Minister of Defense and tells him not to sell us weapons. You see how that hurts when it's a black person who behaves like that. It hurts a lot. If we made a false report, let him come out and deny it. If he was sent to create a problem in Burkina Faso, as they usually do well, we will prepare. We will wait for them, because it has to stop now. The black race must not be used to fight black people. And every time it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's what we deplore. And it hurt us a lot to see that. It was a black man who made these remarks. It's true that they can regret it through various channels. They try to backtrack, but no. It was said publicly. It must be rectified publicly. That's how we see it. We are no longer in diplomatic hypocrisy, as we like to say, saying things loudly and then coming down and saying, "No, we apologize. We didn't mean it." You have to say it publicly. So I invite them to backtrack to say it publicly, because African youth have understood, black youth all over the world have understood this manipulation no longer works. That has always been the case, using false alibis to hope to achieve other goals that no longer works. So it's regrettable. But Burkina Faso remains on its path. We will continue to develop. And he forgot to say everything we are doing for Burkina Faso. What we are doing, no regime has ever achieved. Look at the socioeconomic development of Burkina Faso that has been made. We are building many health centers, equipping them with medical equipment, and lowering the costs of medical examinations. Which regime has done that? No one. We are acting on agriculture, plowing the fields of farmers for free. Our production has increased. Who did that? No one. The army that we are creating a new army. The Burkinab army has never had as many personnel and equipment as it does now. Who did that? No regime. In terms of employment, no regime has created as many jobs as we have. Industrialization. Maybe that's what hurts them. What they want to stop. So they have to invent lies. In any case, I invite them to review their copy. That's what I can say. It's a big lie, and it's regrettable. Before we continue, if you love what we do here on this channel and would like to support us, then you might consider gifting us a super thanks donation of any amount, or you might as well become an uplifting Africa channel member for exclusive content perks and more. Links to join are in the pinned comment and in the description box. President, Mr. President. For many in Africa, you are more than a president of a country. You are the embodiment of renewed Pan-Africanism. Why does Africa particularly need a new Thomas Sankara today? How does it feel to assume all this responsibility at only 37 years old? Age is not important, but it's pressure. I can say it's pressure. It's a message that the youth is giving me, and it puts more pressure on me. If I used to sleep 2 hours, I've reduced my sleep time to 1 hour. And if I shouldn't sleep, I don't sleep anymore, because they have seen something that we are doing that, according to them, can allow Africa to get out of this situation. And that encourages us, remotivates us to continue the fight. That's why I said it's pressure. It's a very heavy responsibility. And I can promise that all we can do is not betray, continue in our line of Pan-African struggle, hoping that it can take hold among all African youth, and that the Pan-Africanism we so desire can become a reality, because Africa has suffered a lot. It's time to finish work and develop, just as Africans go elsewhere to see development. Africa can achieve that. It's possible. So that's our mission, and we will assume it. Mr. President, more and more African countries are claiming sovereignty and demanding the withdrawal of Western troops from their soil. Recently, for example, Chad, Senegal, and Kivu have made similar demands. In your opinion, where did the West go wrong in its relations with the African continent? What I know is our situation. We were at war. We lived with Western troops, and we saw and we decided to separate from those troops because it didn't fit with the struggle. On the contrary, it amplified the phenomenon. The other countries that have separated, I can't comment because they decided to separate. But then President Macron said that he told them to find the formula. I can't get into that debate. Only they know the truth. But one thing is sure, we can't talk about sovereignty and have an army from another country on our soil telling us what to do. The economy, education, all the development of a country is based on the army. So each country should develop its army, be sovereign and independent, and that's what we are doing. In the case of Burkina Faso, these armies were present and they contributed to killing the Burkina Bay army. We weren't recruiting anymore. They were the ones who said how many to recruit. There was no more armament equipment and so on. Even in the 1980s under Sankara, we were better equipped than 10 or 20 years later. And sovereignty begins with the army. Once you have a strong army, all other aspects can easily develop. That's what I can say. What pushed Burkina Faso to separate from these armies? Please support our effort to scout the internet and bring forth uplifting updates about the mother continent every now and then by donating a super thanks of any amount. Thank you.